Zbcn or Zbcn network and XST known as Xsalute. The charts are screaming breakout. Don't miss this. Now, most of you have been lied to. On my channel, trust, honesty builds reputation. First, we're going to talk about XST. I'm going to play you a short I made trying to reach new viewers about the influencer essentially saying, you're an idiot if you don't buy XST. Let's get into it.
We will be officially announcing a $500 billion investment into NVIDIA, OpenAI, and XST.
Everyone has less than 9 days left.
So it's this guy, Candle Trades 261. If you've seen this guy on Instagram, he's like yelling at you to buy XST. You'll be a multi-millionaire if you spend $1,000. Okay, first off, he deleted all those videos. For the entire month, he was screaming at you, you're an idiot if you're not buying XST. If XST goes from 7 cents to $500, then you're going to be a multimillionaire. Yeah, that's like saying if my car turns into a Lamborghini, then I'd have a Lamborghini. It's like, what the hell, man? 7 cents to $500 is absolutely ridiculous. We've seen Bitcoin go from dollars to hundreds of dollars, not $500 in its first run, which brings me to the chart. So the guy was telling you, buy XST, buy XST. It's at a whole 4 cents right now. Buy XST, buy XST. It's at nearly 7 cents right now. If you're following that guy and listening to everything that everybody's telling you, I mean, I'm sorry to tell you, but you're losing your bag. The guy's just trying to sell you his bag because he's telling people to buy at 7 cents because he's buying at 7 cents. And where's it at now? Roughly a penny. So all your money's gone if you invested in XST. This, my friends, is the same guy who said, sorry, I gotta make his face. Buy XVM. It's the RWA for Ripple. Here's the other trade he was promoting. XVM. Buy XVM. What I want to know is who's paying this guy. Anything that guy's promoting, highly avoid it. Just do a little bit of research because they're obviously getting paid by somebody to promote nothing. And then immediately afterwards, they end up deleting their promotions. So if you invested into XST or XVM because somebody yelled at you, I'm sorry. I wish you guys would have found this channel earlier. But let's actually dig into something that actually has some relevance, being Zbcn. Why is Zbcn more relevant than whatever meme coin or fake coin that other people are promoting? Well, because I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you, Zbcn is going to be working on the XRP ledger. And that is major, major bullish news. Even though it is in a downward channel currently, this is kind of what we are expecting if it can break out of this channel. It can get rejection still because when we reference Bitcoin, Bitcoin can still have a pullback towards that 200 EMA, allowing the rest of the market to bleed out as well, making it a little bit healthier. But we have to keep in mind coins don't just move down because Bitcoin moves down. Coins can still move up when Bitcoin moves down. Let's take an example. So Bitcoin is losing a little bit of steam right here at the resistance level. Polygon, however, as I called out for members prior and then released a public video, Polygon's all the way up at nearly 12 cents. And once it broke out of the channel, that was roughly a 50% increase in price. Now let's reference this to Zbcn. How can we justify where Zbcn will go? Well, let's fib it. Fib the ratio, and first resistance, clearly it was hit at 0.0021, which is also in line with the downward channel. I'm talking about August 21st. It's still within the channel, so it can still retrace and hopefully, more than ideally and more than likely, find support right above this trend line, being where the previous low was at 0.01555. So we can still see a pullback, and that would be the healthiest thing for ZBCN, because with that pullback, when it builds a higher low, it says, hey, I don't want to go back down to this area. I want to start building some higher lows, getting it closer to this downward trend line. And once that's broken, we'd like to see it push up potentially to this area in the Fibonacci retracement, find a little bit of consolidation while the 200 EMA is coming over like this. And then once it gets over that 200 EMA, the push up to potentially 0.003099 being the 618 or higher up to 0.00354. That's the smaller picture. So when in doubt, zoom out and see where the bigger picture leads us to, right? This is called TA. That's what we're doing. And it's been extremely reliable. You guys in my channel know this. And for those of you who are new, I'm going to constantly bring it up because all the references in the description below are ways to make extra money, whether it's passive through Nexo, the roller coin game, being this game, using the reference link automatically airdrops you 1,000 Satoshi Bitcoin. So if you own none, use that reference link and start earning passive rewards. As you can see, I withdrew like 70 XRP. Just the other day, I withdrew 400 Doge. I still have 0.62 Solana I need to withdraw. And this is all passive with zero investment. That is constantly why I recommend the game. But using the reference link gets you into the game with 1,000 Satoshi Bitcoin. And looking back at ZBCN, the 618 retracement is all the way up here at 0.005. If you're being smart about it and you're entering in ZBCN once it breaks out of this channel, that to the 618 is about 163%. The full one retracement is almost 300%. But with ZBCN's use case scenario, I'm actually going to refer to it back to XRP. I know this is jumping around a lot, but this is how I do my technical analysis specifically for this video to try and give you a better variation of what to be looking for. So this is XRP back in year 2012 to 2017. This is more or less the price range that we are in with ZBCN, 0.002, more or less. So 0.002 is roughly the bottom of where XRP tapped out at. Over the course of time and consolidation, it finally had a liquidity sweep right here on the 30th of January of 2017, pushing below its previous low, liquidating people who had sell stops in that area. Immediately got bought back up, and even though Fib says here's 618, it pushed beyond the 4 cents, all the way up to the full one retracement and then some, being 1,231%, before ultimately pulling back into the CM Guppy, finding support at that 50 mark, like we talk about in my videos, and had a major continuation to the upside, ultimately capturing 7,605% gains in XRP. And then beyond that, all the way up a few, like a year later, ultimately 64,000% if you were willing to hold the entire year from your entry point. Can ZBCN do that? That's only pushing XRP to $3.37, being its all-time high more or less before we broke it. If ZBCN does the same, that would be putting ZBCN at $1.26, $1.27 within the year, right? Just giving it a time frame. You can't time the market. But $1.26 for a coin that is working on the XRP ledger and is going to be utilized to do payments within the hours of going to work. You go to work, you work for an hour, the payment gets added to your bank account instantly through using the ZBCN network. Let's do it from the first pump. I just explained that with that on pause. But let me try and reference where I was. There is going to be resistance on the way up here, here with the upward trend line, here, here, and here as well. However, if XCN makes it over that 0.007, then you could expect a nice entry opportunity, but it increases your risk exponentially. So me personally, I'm waiting until we get out of this channel and ideally over this 200 EMA. Once that is cleared, then it is a prime entry, ultimately reducing your risk heavily and increasing the reward exponentially. Hopefully I captured all that stuff in there. I'm not sure how long the video is paused, but good luck. Have fun with it. Become a member so you can get insight on Zbcn like this. I'm referencing you. Tony S72. You always want me to cover Zbcn. Still not a member, but I will be covering it as a priority if you do become one. Good luck. Have fun with it. I'll see you guys on the next one.